Before we get to Albert Breer, senior NFL reporter, Monday Morning Quarterback, here's Urban Meyer yesterday talking about the possible leaks inside the organization.
What's the answer? Start leaking information or some nonsense? No, that's nonsense. That's garbage. That's once again, I've been very blessed. I've not really dealt with that. I've not dealt with, well, did you hear what he said? What? No, let's improve on offense and get our quarterback in a position to be successful. That's our focus. What someone's brother said or someone said, that will occupy very little of my time. And if there is a source, that source is unemployed. I mean, within seconds, if there's some source that's doing that.
Let's bring in Albert Breer on this topic. Albert, how does this end?
I don't know. I mean, I think it's interesting because I think the difference between what he had in college and what he has now is he can control the situation in college where if things were uncomfortable for assistant coaches, and they were often uncomfortable for assistant coaches under Urban at that level, he didn't have to worry about things like this where, I think the assistant coaches, people in the building have relationships with the media. And if they feel like things aren't working and it's uncomfortable for them, they're willing to voice their issues. And this is one thing that's pretty common. And guys who coached for him at Florida, guys who coached for him at Ohio State would tell you he never wants to blame a player. He always blames the coaches. And he will hold meetings where he'll ask coaches to, what have you done for me lately? What have you done for our team lately? He'll go out to practice and he'll look at your drill and say, why are you doing that? And your answer can't be because we've always done it. And so, I can tell you, I mean, I've got relationships at Ohio State, and, when he left there and Ryan Day took over, a cloud lifted off the building to some degree because it had been such a tense environment. And part of the issue, Dan, here is that I think Urban associates a lot of his success with that being able to create that tension. It's the same sort of tension you see Nick Saban create. It's the same sort of tension you see Bill Belichick create. It's just that in 2021, when you're starting a new program and you don't have the trophy case to back it up, and NFL players don't care about how many national championships you've won. You go to New England, they do care about the Lombardis, right? But they don't care how many national championships you might have won in college. And, you're trying to start a program that's unlike what most guys come up playing in or coaching in now. And you ruffle some feathers, there's no guarantee that's staying inside the building.
I know that we want to make this comparison with Jimmy Johnson and the Cowboys, and Jimmy didn't win, but 2 years later they're in the playoffs. 3 years after that, then they're in the Super Bowl, winning a Super Bowl. Troy Aikman starting out, not 8 touchdowns and 18 or 16 interceptions. Can you make any comparison between having the patience that the Cowboys had with Jimmy Johnson and Troy, and Jacksonville having patience with Trevor Lawrence and Urban Meyer?
I think it's just a different age, and I think part of the issue that Urban's going to confront now is no matter whether this stuff is downplayed, exaggerated, real, not real, it's going to be real for him now because he's going to have to answer questions about it. People in the building, who have issues with him now essentially have license to go and say something about it because it does feel like things have gotten sideways there. And so the question becomes, how do you get out of it? I think one of two things happens. Either one, he decides to walk away or the team decides to get rid of him after this year, which you can't rule it out now based on, where they are.
But how expensive would that be?
Very expensive. And that's why you wonder, would Shad Khan try to get him to quit? So that's one, right? Or I don't see any other way that you would do it if you were going to keep him than bring back an overhauled staff. And, I know that I can just tell you, having talked to people who are close to Urban, I think they feel like there are some weak links on that staff, and that the way that they build their program is sort of built to weed people out. And I don't know if maybe some of this is coming from the fact that maybe there were some people who saw the writing on the wall here and that knew that, in 5 or 6 weeks, they were going to be gone anyway. But the sense that I have gotten is that, with some of the hires that Urban made, some of the NFL hires that Urban made, not the guys like Charlie Strong or Chris Ash that he brought from college, I think that he felt like there were some weak links on the staff. So it'll be interesting to see whether or not Shad Khan decides to double down on Urban and say we can fix this amid everything that's going on right now, which will require hiring new staff and paying out guys who you're firing, walking out the door, or do you decide that it's time to hit the reset button because you're at too critical a point of Trevor Lawrence's development? And it'll be interesting to see what happens, because I do think Trevor Lawrence remains sort of the key piece here. It's so important that they put him in the right position over the next couple of years.